All right, guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, we're gonna steal a billboard truck, drive it across the strip, and then promote my YouTube channel so I can get more subscribers like you. Make sure to hit that bell, baby. Parkour!
Wow.
Who the fuck are you? Jackson? How'd you get my keys?
You met my friend Cinnamon?
Cinnamon? You stole my keys, didn't you?
Yeah, it was me. I stole you.
You know what's funny? A few years ago, I wish I had people driving around my truck for free. When I first came to Vegas, I didn't even have a truck. Hell, I didn't even have a place to sleep.
I mean, bro, I got a podcast studio. Why don't we just hop on and you tell me your story?
Fuck it, let's run it.
And that's exactly what they
Diddy, Kamala Harris, Kanye West. Danny has ran marketing campaigns for some of the biggest brands in the world. But behind the massive billboard truck, high-profile success, and the seven-figure business, there's a story that most people never get to hear. Not only did Danny show me exactly how he built his company, but he gave me the raw data behind the over 500 campaigns he's ran for his clients. Buckle up, because we're gonna break down what it truly takes to get it to the next level. Before the success, Danny wasn't running massive campaigns. In fact, he was sleeping on park benches.
I mean, a lot of people don't know. When I graduated high school, I was sleeping on park benches. I was homeless for like 8 months
Really?
Yeah, when I was 17. Me and my parents grew up completely different. You know, we didn't see eye to eye in a lot of things. And I love my parents. They're amazing.
Yeah.
You know, they're an absolute blessing. But, you know, we're straight from Puerto Rico and they're very traditional. So they had a lot of tough love on me growing up.
It's a common misconception that you have to come from money in order to be successful. A lot of people like to think that's the case, but it really isn't true. In fact, according to Ramsey's Solutions national study, approximately 80% of millionaires come from families at or below middle income levels. I believe this is because they have a much stronger why. When your family doesn't have a lot of extra money, that stress can be very taxing. But as much as that's a hindrance, is the equal amount it can be an advantage.
I'm very resourceful when it comes to putting all the pieces of the puzzle together and making them work together. You know?
that something you developed or has been very intuitive?
I think it comes from my background, you know. I'm from Puerto Rico, my family that still lives there now.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be resourceful. You have to work with what you got. When I look back, I'm like, man, for 11 years, I've really been figuring this shit out, you know, no matter what it takes. Going through that and knowing that you got to make it happen no matter what, it's just, you know, it's just part of the process.
All energy is neutral. Your perception of it is what makes it a good thing or a bad thing. So if you can take this negative energy and point it towards something positive, it becomes your ultimate competitive advantage because you have an unlimited fuel source to pull from.
I mean, every day there's stresses owning a business. There's always stresses, you know? So I always look at something and I'm like, you've been through worse and you've always figured it out.
So how did Danny go from sleeping on park benches to running one of the top marketing firms in Las Vegas? Well, let's just say it involved a lot of tacos.
It started with house parties. Started at house parties, I'm not gonna lie. All my best friends are like my brothers. We all live together, you know? And we had this thing called Taco Tuesday. Before I launched Toto, everyone knew me and my buddies as the Taco Tuesday boys. They would call us the TT boys. One of the best types of marketing is when people feel like they're a part of something. You know, it's one of the greatest tactics when people really feel like they're involved. So I took the idea of people calling us the TT boys and I created Toto out of that because I already had a loyal 250 people that would come to my house every single Tuesday for 2 years. So I kind of took that and I transitioned it into my company. And then I started doing my actual events at venues and stuff.
Now, by far, one of the single greatest marketing strategies you can use to promote your business is throwing events. There are very few tactics that are as effective at curating a large audience of your target market. If you can curate an awesome experience, it gives you the authority and the platform to promote your business at scale. This is what we do at the Podcast Mansion. Every single month we throw a party here where we get 100 new entrepreneurs out into our ecosystem. And now that the events have gained traction, I get 100 plus new people here every single month, and I don't even really have to promote it that much. Now, one of the biggest things you can do to build a successful business, especially any sort of high ticket offer, is to dig your well before you're thirsty. Since Danny had already cultivated such a large community of artists in Las Vegas, when he had his opportunity to buy the Billboard truck, he had a built-in customer base ready to go.
I think I was really blessed because like I was saying, I was in the local hip hop scene. When I first got the truck, that was kind of my niche for the first 6 to 8 months. I was targeting local artists because when you're an artist, you're dropping a project, people oversaturate the same tactics. They do the same things over and over again. So when I got the truck, my whole vision was, yo, there's nobody promoting their album or their music video like this, especially on the Las Vegas Strip. So for 6 to 8 months, that was kind of my niche. I was just pushed towards artists.
Now this was a great start for Danny. He was able to start selling, $300 to $500 placements to all these artists in his network. But how was that gonna scale into a 7-figure business? The truth is, it isn't. So there's only a couple ways you can really do this as a business owner. The first one is increasing the amount of customers that we actually have. The more customers we sell, the more money we make. Now, the next thing is actually increasing how many times those customers buy from us. And fun fact, they're actually 5 times more likely to buy from you once they've already purchased, because it actually reinforces to them that they made the right decision. Now, the last one, this really is the key. This is the biggest lever that you can pull, which is how much each client is actually spending with you when they make a purchase. And this tweak for Danny is really what took his business to the next level.
And then slowly but surely, I started, developing relationships with companies, local businesses and stuff, because the value's there. Like you said, it's the biggest truck in the country.
If you're not sure how to do that, I highly recommend you check out the book, $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi. In that book, he talks about the importance of serving a demographic that actually has money. In fact, a lot of times, you'll come to find out it's easier to sell a product for $50,000 than it is to sell a product for $500. Think about it. If I'm selling a $500 product to someone with $1,000, I'm asking for 50% of their net worth. If I'm selling a $50,000 product to someone with $10 million, I'm asking for 0.005% of their net worth. So this is why sometimes it's actually easier to sell stuff that costs more. It's just about changing who you're selling to. But how do we actually attract high-level, high-paying clients?
How do I find $50,000 clients? A lot of ways to do this. We live in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, so $50,000 clients are here in abundance, so it's an absolute blessing. I definitely am blessed with an amazing referral system of people that believe in me and vouch for me, so they reach out to me. Cold call with confidence, cold email, reach out to people. Hey, I think I could bring value to your business. If you don't have a direct line to the $50,000 clients, then you reach out to the people that work for the $50,000 clients. I see that you are a bud tender at this dispensary. Would you be willing to introduce me to your boss? It's now brownie points for them because they're introducing their boss to somebody that's gonna bring value, that's gonna bring them in money, that's gonna raise the awareness of their business. So they're gonna be willing to do it as long as you have a good business rep. And then I understand the value of the services that I provide. So it makes it very easy for me to want to reach out to them. I don't even care to sell them. I just have to know, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. Let me know if you're interested. And for the most part, they're like, oh, please, actually, I've been waiting for somebody that does what you do.
Now that may sound great in theory, but what do we actually have to do to attract those high-level clients? Well, after running over 500 campaigns, here are the core fundamentals that Danny finds make the biggest difference.
I got into marketing because I love psychology. I've studied psychology my whole life.
Yeah.
And then when I see the psychology behind branding and how just the smallest little pivot can completely change the positioning of how the masses view your brand, it really made me realize, like, I've been slacking this whole time.
Now, from a sample size of doing 500 campaigns,
yes,
what do you see worked the best?
Simplicity. In everything with advertising, simplicity is key, right?
Yeah.
So I really believe that the simplest artwork is gonna captivate people's attention. So I go with the simplest artwork on the side screens, your brand logo and QR code on the back on the rear screen. You know, I really believe that's the most impactful and the most effective. So many people want to go above and beyond and want to go the extra mile and kind of like try too hard, when at the end of the day, when somebody sees your ad or somebody sees your campaign, you have 2 seconds to get their attention, and you have 2 seconds for them to understand who you are, what it is that you do, and the call to action to move forward if they are interested.
It's also really important that we have clear understanding of our messaging and our visual language.
Visual language is something that you set within your brand, within your content, to give it more depth. Anytime you see any of my content, you'll see the visual language behind it. So it's not just my colors and my logo. You do a lot of waves within, you know, in the background to give the design more depth and more emotion, you know, so that people are looking at it, they're not just seeing color, logo, slogan.
Yeah.
You know, the visual language, whether it be like you have layered triangles behind your logo, or, you know, behind in the background of your content, where you do what we do, we do like waves and stuff like that, right? No matter what it is, that's set there to, once again, to give your company more depth than just the brand colors, the logo, and your slogan. It's actually really deep on a psychological level. I wanted to be high end. I wanted to position my brand up here, right? When I was just kind of in the middle of the pack, right? So what did we do? Changed my brand colors to not just black and white, but now it's also like a royal grape purple. Because that color itself, it psychologically, people look at it and they think high end, they think royalty, right? That's why branding is so crucial and it's so cool. Branding is the emotion that people feel when they see your brand, right? So you have branding, and that's the emotion, and marketing is what you do to put that emotion out there. You know, I thought I liked my logo. I thought everybody liked my logo. Bro, after I dropped my new logo, so many people reached out to me. They're all like, hey man, I love your new logo. Hated the last one. I was like, damn, motherfucker. You weren't gonna tell me this? Like, what the hell?
That shit was trash.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, god damn, okay. Well, thanks for the heads up, you know?
And last but not least, it's about maximizing the amount of touch points you get from each campaign. In order to maximize this, Danny recently rolled out what I think could be the next big marketing opportunity in Las Vegas.
Danny invested in the future of marketing, holographic backpacks.
I saw them and I was like, wow, nobody's doing this right now. Why is nobody doing this right now? And, you know, before I made the investment to buy, you know, a few dozen of them, I put one on myself. I would go into certain bars with the backpacks, and immediately, every single time I get a reaction from people, I would hear people whispering, look at his backpack. Wow, look at his backpack, boom. And immediately it was like, wow, the impact that these backpacks have is unparalleled. You know, it's an absolute conversation starter. It gets the eyes, it gets the attention of people, because it's something that's not really being done here in America. Nonetheless, here in Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world. And with us owning America's largest digital billboard truck, I'm like, man, it only makes sense for us to have Las Vegas's only hologram backpacks as well. Where the truck can't go, the backpacks can. It's just the perfect way to help my clients take over. When they want to take over Las Vegas, we now have the assets. You need the digital billboards, up and down the freeways and up and down the strip, we got you. You need the truck driving up and down the strip, up and down the surface streets of the city, we got you. You want street team people walking around the city? We got everything that you need to be able to make that happen.
It doesn't matter where you start, it matters where you're going. And if Danny can go from sleeping on park benches to Las Vegas's 30 under 30, then you can reach your dreams too. All you have to do is develop an unforgettable brand, serve clients that actually have money, and use your adversity to fuel you to the top. If you guys have any interest in getting your brand on Danny's billboard trucks or his holographic backpacks, go ahead and shoot me a DM on Instagram. Since I'm boys with him, he decided that anybody that comes from me, he's gonna get the friends and family discount. So if you're interested in exploring that, just go ahead and shoot me a DM and we can talk about what that could look like. And if you'd like to see the next episode, just click right there. Have a good one.